Don't forget football on CBS on Thanksgiving Day, noon Eastern Time, Chicago versus Detroit. Garo Yepremian kicking off for New Orleans and kicks it down the left sideline. Jeff Moore takes it on his 11 to the 20, 25. So Merlo making the tackle for New Orleans. Here is Jim Merlo, number 57. You can take a look at him on the special teams. Merlo, a linebacker. Play action fake to Dorning. They give to Moore, and Moore sees some daylight. He's out and fumbles the ball after the whistle out of bounds. And the ball actually going out of bounds at around the 41-yard line. Meanwhile, the New York Giants playing at Tampa Bay, and in checking that precinct, Tampa Bay leading the Giants 7-0 in the second quarter.
You know, both clubs now are establishing the running game. Manning set up his drive with some big plays on the ground, and now Zorn's doing the same thing. Now that'll help their passing game.
So it is 1st and 10 on the Seattle 42. Dornick and Moore behind Zorn. Play action fake to Dornick. Zorn out to the left to Largent at the 48, and he fakes Chapman out and is finally banged out of bounds at the last minute by Brown.
Boy, Largent is quick. He has tremendous hands. Very seldom drops the ball. Runs precise patterns. He gets open with his moves. He doesn't have the speed, the racehorse speed. He gets open by making good moves and the use of his fine hands.
So it'll be 1st and 10 on the New Orleans 42-yard line, 17-14 Seattle. Largent, number 80, going wide left, McCullum wide right. Each man has burned New Orleans. Zorn on a draw to Jeff Moore, but he is hit by Bennett at the line of scrimmage and then falls forward a yard. But it was Barry Bennett out of Concordia in Minnesota, number 63, who hit him head on.
That's that sprint draw again that they've used so effectively. One of these times, Zorn's going to fake it to him and keep the ball and run or pass.
Jeff Moore doing the heavy duty for Sherman Smith. Moore, a rookie out of Jackson State. So it is 2nd and 8. The ball is on the New Orleans 40-yard line. Both McCullum and Largent go on the left side. Rabel is on the right side. Dorning. And a flag on the play.
Another flag, yeah.
Holding against Seattle. The numbers so far, Zorn is 9 out of 12 for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. Can you imagine that?
Sure.
191 yards. And for Jim Zorn, he needs 320
Holding,
yards for 10,000.
Number 76, offense, still 2nd down.
That's Steve August, 3 years out of Tulsa. You might take a look. If you look to the right of your screen, you can see number 76, Steve August. He has his hands full of Aloy's grooms. 2nd and 18.
Well, they want a different ball or some stick-em on it or something. Want to change the ball.
2nd and 18. Ball just shy of midfield.
That's the center's responsibility to call the referee's attention, call the official's attention to that so the quarterback doesn't get it and fumble it.
So we'll see about Zorn, 2nd and 18 from midfield. He has McCullum left, Rabel right. He has Peets on a wing, and he has Largent in the backfield with Dorning. Reese trying to come in, but he can't get there, and the pass no good. It was intended for McCullum. He was trying to come back and get it, but the pass overthrown. There's that football that had too much stick-em on him.
Now, he had him open on that, just overthrew him. McCullum drove him off and came back and ran a deep out.
And they were picking on Eric Felton again. He had Felton in motion going deep, and then he tried to turn and come back on him, but the pass obeyed.
Usually in that case, Vin, you got to give that defensive back some help. If the quarterback has time to throw, there's no way you're going to cover a fast receiver one-on-one deep.
Zorn is 9 for 13 for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns, all in the first half. 3rd and 18 from midfield, and a slot left. McCullum inside Largent. Zorn setting up and firing, coming across at McCullum, and is dragged down by McGill. 35-yard line, but he had to get to inside the 33 for a first down. So on 3rd and 18, he comes up a couple of yards shy.
Well, they're worried about 84 deep, McCullum deep, and he starts deep and comes across, which was a pretty good call. He didn't pick up the first down. They're going to try a field goal now.
It'll be 4th and 2. And the line of scrimmage is the 35-yard line, and Efren Herrera, who has kicked 7 straight, will be trying to make it 8 in a row. The hold by Jim Zorn. And now, wait a minute. They come out of that, and Herrera suddenly goes to the wide receiver. Zorn looking to the left, being chased by Reese. He can run for the first down. He's got the first down. Yes, sir. How about that?
Smart play.
Boy,
Yeah.
we have already had some wide open calls.
Well,
Look at Herrera.
Yeah, they faked the field goal. Efren Herrera lines up as a wide receiver. Now, they had pretty good pressure on Zorn. Now, watch. But it's all inside pressure. Now he can run for the first down. He did the smart thing and then got out of bounds. I don't think I'd put too many men covering Efren Herrera.
No. Well, he ran it to the New Orleans 32, where it is 1st and 10. And Seattle leading 17-14, and this is as wide open a football game as you'll see. Dorning and Moore behind Zorn. Zorn looking to the right side, throwing to Dorning, and he is hit by Brown and dropped at the 25-yard line. A pickup of 7, so it'll be 2nd and 3.
Well, he's thrown a lot on first down, keeping them honest over there. They're faking deep now and coming underneath.
By the way, Zorn has now passed for over 200 yards in the first half. He's 11 for 15 for 214 yards as you see Minnesota knocked off Detroit 14-7. 2nd and 3 on the 25 of New Orleans. Largent wide left and Zorn hollering over to him. And they give to Moore inside, a block by Lynch, and he's going to go to the 15. Felton brings him down, otherwise he's all the way. Eric Felton making the tackle on Jeff Moore at about the 13-yard line.
You know, we haven't seen Moore play. He looks like he's a pretty good back. He's got more quickness and speed than you would think. He reverses his field and makes a good yard. Watch his feet. Good tackle. Moore is getting a chance today, and he's coming through.
1st and 10, and they've spotted the ball on the New Orleans 14-yard line. 6:20 left in the half. The Seahawks leading the Saints 17-14. McCullum in motion right. And they give it to Big Dorning, and he's got daylight inside the 5. It'll be a 1st and goal.
Well, what a wide open ball game. He fakes a late on this and a quick handoff to Dornick, a big hole. Saints were playing pass defense. They're retreating. That's what happens. You don't need much blocking when you're going backwards.
It'll be 1st and goal on the 2-yard line. The Saints have given up 4.8 yards per rush. Seattle 4.7 all year. So it's a wide open game. 1st and goal from the 2. And Sherman Smith is now in there with Dan Dorning. They give to Dorning. Touchdown! Dan Dorning powering over for his 7th touchdown rushing this year. No finesse, just full strength to get it in there.
Notice how he was carrying that ball. Well protected. Here it is again. He starts out with 2 hands on the ball. And that's what I like to see down in there. You don't want to make a mistake down in there. Fine drive again by Zorn. It looks like one offense is going to have to outscore the other offense.
That's about it. I think the last team to have the ball will be the team to win this one. It's 23-14 Seahawks. Herrera now trying to make it a 10-point lead. It's up and good. Let's take one more look. Dan Dorning carrying the ball. Sherman Smith blocking on the left side. Merlot and Dorning backing into the end zone for a touchdown. A good block by Sherman Smith on Jim Merlot.
Here's to good friends, Tonight is kind of special.
Hey, where you been? Well, it wasn't easy getting tickets for this game. Hey, Bob. Eddie, I know exactly what I want. I want the biggest steak you got and a bottle of Lowenbrow.
Steak and Lowenbrow. Dolan, you're a genius.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Here's to the chef. Here's to the bartender.
The more aerodynamic shape a vehicle has, the easier it slips through the air. And that's what happened to this pickup truck. Announcing the first new truck of the 80s, the new Ford. It's aerodynamically designed so it's more slippery than last year, has less drag, with the best gas mileage rating of any American-built standard pickup. And there's all that Ford-built toughness. Ford's most popular half-ton pickup can carry 293 pounds more payload than a comparable Chevrolet. Built Ford Tough.
Don't forget, tomorrow night, join the Peanuts gang for the award-winning special of Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Then MASH, The Turning Point with Shirley MacLaine and Ann Bancroft. What a beautiful evening tomorrow night on CBS. And look at that Seattle Seahawks prancing right now to the tune of a 24-14 lead. Herrera hits a knuckleball down the left side, and it will be touched and smothered by Williams. Williams falling on the ball at about the 28-yard line.
Williams did the smart thing. He was hoping that ball would go out of bounds, and it didn't. It stayed in. See that? The ball does not go out of bounds. They could have lost that. He did the smart thing. Get on the ball.
So for Archie Manning and company, they'll put it in play 1st and 10 from their own 28. And Dick Nolan saw his Saints score on 3 explosive plays the first time they got the ball, and they haven't really been heard from since. 1st and 10 on the Saints 28. Chandler in motion to the right. Flag on the play. The pass to Galbraith, but he is boxed in by Beeson, and then Butler and Jackson make sure he goes nowhere. Dick Nolan talking particularly to linebacker Pat Hughes along with safety man Dave Brown to how to stop Zorn. Zorn is 11 for 15, 214 yards.
Well, Dick's doing the right thing there. When you get burned like that, you got to talk to him and give him a little security, give him a little confidence. Zorn's in the driver's seat. He's done a tremendous job, has had great field position, but has taken advantage of it. That's the other thing.
Illegal formation, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Offense, still first down.
They've made a lot of mistakes on offense this half.
San Diego scoring again to take a 2-touchdown lead over Pittsburgh, 14-0 in the second quarter. So it is 1st and 15 from the 23. Manning going deep to the left side and completes it to Harris, who is pushed out of bounds by Webster, and he is about 1.5 yards shy of picking up the first down. Meanwhile, the Seattle offense being lectured to, Steve Largent and company. The penalty, the flag goes against New Orleans.
Another big play call back. Ike Harris did a fine job. He came back for the ball.
(24-14) Seattle, 5 minutes and 1 second to the half in a game that figures to be high in scoring and high on penalties. The holding penalty against Robert Woods of New Orleans. San Francisco leading Denver first 7-3, now 14-10 in the second quarter. But of course, San Francisco, winners of one game, they have been out in front early in a lot of games.
Very true.
1st and 25, the ball on the New Orleans 13-yard line. Manning to Muncy. And Muncy got around Boyd and Butler. And finally goes out of bounds at the 29-yard line. And he had to beat Boyd and Butler and did. He still has a long way to go for a first down. He has to get to the 38-yard line, but it was still a marvelous run.
He did that on his own. You have a lot of missed tackles when you're defense in Muncy and Galbraith.
You know, Muncy's the only NFC running back averaging more than 5 yards a carry this year among players with a minimum of 70 carries. His average, 5.1. It's 2nd and 9 on the 29. Manning trying to get his first down now. Over the middle, coming across is Muncy, and he takes a lick by Butler at the 31-yard line. So Butler really hit him. The Butler did it, George.
Yeah, that's the linebacker's responsibility to stop these checkdowns and check crosses. You can get away with that maybe about twice, but the third time the defense doesn't get depth, the linebackers stay at home, and that's their responsibility.
That's Keith Butler, who made the tackle 2 years out of Memphis State, and a hard-nosed hitter.
He did. He played it perfectly.
3rd and 6 on the 32. Harris is right. Chandler is left. Manning trying to keep the drive alive. A big 3rd down play for him. Both backs go out. And Manning throws to Galbraith for the first down, but there's a flag on the play as he carries it to the 44-yard line.
Another flag.
And I think it's a lead. No, it's going to be holding against New Orleans again.
Gee. Boy, they've lost a lot of yards on penalties this half. They're beating themselves really right now. They're moving the ball well enough if they can just eliminate a few of these penalties.
Here's the call from Dick Jorgensen.
Holding number 68. Offense, still 3rd down.
That's Fred Sturt, number 68, guilty of the infraction. You can see he's trying to keep Boyd out of there, just on the left-hand side of your screen. Hill waiting to pick him up if he gets through. Fred Sturt from Bowling Green. Meanwhile, you can check the score with 3:57 to the half, 24-14 Seattle. 3rd and 16 for Archie Manning on his own 22. Manning has it to the tight end, Henry Childs, and Childs picks up the first down. So a clutch catch by Childs.
Yeah.
Want to do a little bookkeeping. Look at that penalty. 6 for 53 yards against New Orleans, 4 for 40 yards against Seattle. And Bill Gregory shaken up on the play. A 9-year veteran out of Wisconsin down on his knees. Gregory down at inside the 15-yard line. Gregory hurt and timeout. Gregory last year led Seattle in sacks. He had 9. He puts a great deal of pressure, and he got it while trying to put some pressure on that last play. Gregory, a veteran of 3 Super Bowls, in Super Bowl 6, 10, and 12. The defensive captain, but he's down. 24-14 Seattle.
For those parents who realize that $500 isn't too much to spend to expand their child's world, Radio Shack has the perfect gift.
The TRS-80 computer, the most significant investment a parent can make. Programs for your child's education or your business, finance, and home use. Let your children discover tomorrow's technology today. The TRS-80, the biggest name in little computers. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
Look what's happened to home heating and air conditioning costs. Up and up. Up over 80% in 5 years. But there's a way you can fight back in your attic. Add another layer of pink Owens Corning fiberglass insulation. Ask your dealer or contractor how much more you need. Fight back against rising fuel costs. Get Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now. It's cheaper than oil.
Next Saturday, it's heavyweight boxing action when the CBS Sports Spectacular features the WBC's third-ranking challenger Mike Weaver taking on hard-hitting Scott Ledoux. Plus, the battle of the NFL cheerleaders. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
24-14 Seattle, 3 minutes and 44 seconds left to the half. And New Orleans trying to get once more on the scoreboard before time runs out. 1st and 10 on the Saints' 39. Chandler right and Harris left. Muncy and Galbraith behind Manning. On a draw to Muncy. To the 40, 45. Simpson finally tries to bring him down, and he is still moving. There's a flag on the play.
Yeah.
Keith Simpson, grabbed him up around the helmet, and he was still able to break it.
Yes, and I think that's on the defense. Watch. Here it is. It's a good call. First down draw, a lead draw to Muncie. Now watch Muncie lower his shoulder and watch the hand come up around the face mask. There it is, twisted his neck and helmet.
He still got away.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
something.
boy, he's a tremendous running back. I think right now Muncie is as powerful a running back as I've seen. His average, as you mentioned, is 5 yards a carry.
Right.
It indicates that.
5-yard face mask foul. Defense, first down.
The face mask was against Keith Simpson, the second-year man out of Memphis State. So it is 1st and 10, a big play for Muncie to get it to the Seattle 33. Bill Gregory out with a sprained knee, and Carl Eller is now in there. Play action fake, and Manning under a scramble by Hardy and Tui Sissoko. And it is Tui Sissoko chasing him. Manning now gets away from Eller, but Tui Sissoko got him. And is he happy and exhausted after running all over the field?
You know, a scrambling quarterback takes a lot out of your defensive lineman.
Tui Sissoko ran the distance from here to Samoa to finally get him.
He showed his quickness, and Manning showed his ability to move around. This is a 40-yard run and no gain.
There's Eller missing him, and now Tui Sissoko finally brings him down. Look at that relief as he falls back into life. So from 1st and 10 on the 33, it is 2nd and 24 on the 47. They lost a big 14 yards on that. And Manning trying to get him back in a hurry. No good. Ike Harris, defense by Brown. Wait a minute. Flag on the play, and it'll go against Brown.
Brown
interfering with Ike Harris.
I think he had his left arm on his back. Maybe we can see it again. It was a well-thrown ball.
Automatic first down, and they'll spot the ball at the 31.
Yes, he had his arm on his back. It was a good call.
So a 16-yard pass. It looked like one of the officials really hurling that flag. So 1st and 10 on the 31. We have 2:36 to the half. Chandler left and Harris right. Both backs out. Manning faking and then lobbing into a crowd to Chandler. No good. And boy, did Beeman hit Chandler. Wow. Autry Beeman almost turned his head around.
Well, he faked it short and then went deep, and Chandler was wide open when he got hit on it. And Chandler didn't let that blow bother him. He played the ball. What a job Chandler has done this year, and what a great pick he's been for this ball club. That's the type of first-round pick you like to have.
Chandler has caught 3 for 62 yards and 1 touchdown so far today. 2nd and 10 from the 31. 24-14 Seattle, and New Orleans on a drive. Both backs go out, and Manning is going to go to one of them, Galbraith. He turns inside and is finally dragged down by Butler, but he picked up a first down inside the 20-yard line.
Well, Manning did the smart thing there, Vin. I think he wanted to go to Chandler. Chandler was doubled with Dufek short, and he went to Galbraith. This is an important series for the Saints to get back in here and score.
They're down to the Seattle 18-yard line, where it is 1st and 10. And as you can see, the 2-minute warning with Seattle leading by 10. The Seattle Seahawks 24. The New Orleans Saints driving 14.
I'm a mileage nut. I checked all the figures, and I got a Ford Fairmont. Yeah, 4-cylinder mileage is even higher than last year's. And do they have a 6-cylinder? With standard 4-speed transmission, no 6, foreign or domestic, beats Fairmont's estimated MPG. Datsun's 4-speed doesn't beat it. Toyota doesn't beat it. Citation, the GMX cars don't beat it.
Harold!
Aren't you glad you bought a Fairmont?
You bet your gas can.
The right idea for today.
Remember this, a Rhine wine by any other name is not the same. Next time you wonder what white wine to drink, think of Gallo Rhine.
With 2 minutes left in a wild first half, Seattle 24 and the Saints 14. The Saints have it 1st and 10. Ball is almost on the 17-yard line of Seattle. And for Archie Manning, he got out in front 7-0, and then Seattle came roaring back to take a 14-7 lead. Eventually, they got out in front 24-14, and here comes New Orleans. New Orleans started on their own 28-yard line, and they moved it now to the 17. Tinker Owens is wide left and Chandler right. Galbraith and Muncy behind Manning. Muncy got away from Tui Sissoko, got away from Butler, and then he runs out of room and goes out of bounds.
You know, then a normal back, an ordinary back, would have lost 8-9 yards on that.
He just pushed Tui Sissoko out of the way, and then he pushed Butler out of the way.
You know, it's interesting to me that Ike Harris is not in there, because Ike Harris, with his height down here on the goal line, is very valuable. He must be injured.
Yeah, Harris sitting on the bench for New Orleans. So Manning has Tinker Owens in there. Tinker out of Oklahoma, number 83, spelling, along with Wes Chandler, spelling Ike Harris. Owens going wide right, Chandler wide left. 2nd and 9 on the 16. Manning rolling right, flag on the play, and Boyd a safety sack, and it's broken up, intended for Tinker Owens coming back. Autry Beeman was there, but let's wait for the interpretation on the flag. It will be against New Orleans, illegal procedure, illegal motion.
Number 34, offense,
Boy, I tell you,
decline,
Tony Galbraith has always been in the spotlight, but never more so today. That's about the 5th big penalty against Galbraith.
You know, Vin, what I found out when that happens, usually the player isn't concentrating. He's not totally concentrating as to his assignment and the job he has to do. That's what causes penalties like that, lack of concentration.
So 3rd and 9, the ball on the 16-yard line. Muncy and Galbraith behind Manning. Chandler is left, and Harris is back in there as a wide receiver on the right side. Muncy is going to be grabbed by Carl Eller. So the veteran, number 71, Carl Eller, zeroed in to bring him down.
No chance.
Eller is playing because Bill Gregory sprained his knee, and with Bill Cook hurting and out, they are running out of defensive linemen, so that if Seattle should lose another one, they would suddenly have to change and maybe go to a 3-4.
It's great to have a guy like Carl Eller around who doesn't make mistakes and has been in a lot of big games.
And Eller just came out. You know who's in there defensively? Sam McCullum on the left side. On a field goal attempt, the spot, the kick is low, the kick is no good. And that breaks it as Garo Yefremian unable to kick it through, and for New Orleans, frustrated yet again.
That was a big miss. Normally he'll make that.
It never seemed to come up for him. It seemed to skid on the rug.
The reason Sam McCollum's in there, he's good at getting off on the ball. Here it is, in blocking kicks.
On the left side, that's McCullum trying to get in, number 84. See him slanting, and he couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, and the holder had trouble setting the ball up. That's what made Yefremian miss the ball. The holder kind of fumbled it.
So 1st and 10 from the 20 of Seattle as they dodge a bullet, and they still lead 24-14. Zorn lobbing it, and it's dropped by Pat Hughes. He had an interception and would have gone deep, maybe for a touchdown, and Pat couldn't hold it.
Right in his hands.
And it was softly thrown. It was not a case of handling a bullet.
Now watch this. Right in Pat Hughes' hands. Here it comes. Right. That's an interception drill for the linebackers.
So a big break against New Orleans as Pat Hughes unable to make the interception. And it is 2nd and 10 from the 20. Hughes, by the way, has 4 interceptions this year. New Orleans has 21. But boy, they let a big one get away that time. 2nd and 10 from the 20. Zorn on a draw to Durning. Stymied by Bennett, chased by Reese, and down he goes. But it was Bennett who was in there first to plug up what would have been the draw hole.
You know, Pat Hughes, 54, has done a fine job for the Saints. He played with the Giants for many years. He gives them the experience and some leadership that you need on a young ball club like this.
He was the most valuable player for the Giants back in '74, and he's 10 years in the league. There's Pat Hughes out of Boston University.
He'll remember that one a long time, because I really think he had a touchdown, Vin. All he had to do was go to the sidelines, and he would have scored.
3rd and 11 from the 19, 24-14 Seattle with 15 seconds to the half. Zorn to Dornink, and Dornink sees daylight and barrels out to the 35-yard line, and it looks like that's going to be the last play of the first half. Boy, they really broke it open for Dornink. So that's the end of the first half in Seattle's Kingdome, with the Seattle Seahawks 24 and the New Orleans Saints 14. Big battle between Jim Zorn and Archie Manning, and offense is the word. Zorn has passed for 214 yards in the first half, and the 10-point lead, 24-14 Seattle.
For all the people who would love to buy remote control television if the price is right, RCA announces the remarkable remote sale. Just buy one of 20 selected RCA color TVs with channel lock remote control, from XL100 portables up to color track consoles, and you'll get from $20 to $100 direct from RCA. So see your participating RCA dealer while the savings are
remarkable.
Marvin and I just love to go camping in our Pinto wagon.
And so does our son Richard. Right, Dad, we camp in our Pinto wagon, too.
And so do our married daughters.
Pinto's great for taking the kids. And husbands, too.
That makes 4 generations and 4 Pinto wagons.
Introducing the 1980 Pinto wagon with the best gas mileage rating of any wagon built in America.
For camping, you need a Pinto wagon.
And someone who knows how to cook.
And I'm that someone.
Right, Dad.
We're not just a couple of animals who can only play football. We can be civilized, too.
Tennis is sophisticated, but you still got to be fast on your feet. So we still drink light beer from Miller. It's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer, and it's less filling.
And it really tastes great.
Now that we played singles, we're looking for a nice, friendly game of doubles.
Tennis, anyone?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Next Saturday, it's live heavyweight boxing action when the CBS Sports Spectacular features WBC's third-ranking challenger Mike Weaver taking on hard-hitting Scott Ledoux. Plus, the battle of the NFL cheerleaders with 16 NFC and AFC teams competing in the football relay. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger. Hard to get this halftime up on the air. All the Giant fans around me are cheering madly because the Giants have their first rally of the day against Tampa Bay. We had overtime in Cleveland, Miami. Brian Sipe freezes that tough Dolphin defense, gives himself a lot of time, and then Irv went to Reggie Rucker. Rucker had himself a marvelous afternoon. Watch this catch by Ozzie Newsome for a Cleveland touchdown. One-handed. But then it was Don Strock replacing Bob Greasy, driving the Dolphins back to a 24-all tie, now in OT. The gunfighter, Sipe, most underrated quarterback in the league, steps up. Rucker's free. Tim Foley can't catch it. And it's 30-24. Now, these games are in progress, and yes, that is what's happening. San Diego 21, Pittsburgh nothing. Lord Jeff, John Jefferson, caught a 16-yarder to get San Diego going, and Fouts has been red hot. Kansas City still leading Oakland. They're at the half now. It's 10-7 by a field goal. Stabler just went 2 yards to Van Egan to get the Raiders back in the hunt. And San Francisco leads Denver 21-10 in the second. James Owens returned a punt 85 yards for a touchdown in that game. Houston now getting ready for that Thanksgiving Day shootout with Dallas, destroying Cincinnati. 35-7. Pastorini went 17 yards to Barber. Campbell scored from 2 yards out also. Now the game that's underway with the Giants being shut out right now, 14-0 by Tampa Bay. But again, the Giants are threatening for the first time this afternoon. Kodar has them inside the 20-yard line. And another game at the half, and of course you're watching that one. 24-14. Hey, Jim Zorn had some first half, didn't he? Passed for more than 200 yards. Now, Jane, there was a major news development in the NFL off the field this week.
That's true, Brent. Earlier this week, Ed Garvey, the executive director of the Players Association, said the NFL was, quote, a monument to racism in its hiring practices of blacks and coaches in the front office personnel. Speaking with Irv and Brent earlier, Garvey repeated that charge and said former Green Bay Packer Willie Wood is an example of a black who should be a coach in the NFL. Irv then asked Commissioner Pete Rozelle for his response to the charge.
Well, I would like to see more minorities involved in coaching and other aspects of the NFL. I think that great progress has been made, and I believe that we'll have more in the future. But on the other hand, I think the same charge could be made of most companies and institutions in this country, including your network, Brent, and the other networks, media, all companies. I think that finding qualified minority people is the responsibility of all of us. But I think to make a charge of racism is a very, very disruptive thing for, in the middle of a football season, to make those charges in a correspondence with the NFL player representatives was irresponsible.
Commissioner, thank you. Brent?
Let me put that to Ed. Ed, the commissioner says that charge is irresponsible in the middle of a season. How do you feel about that?
Well, when you send out private communications to your player representatives, and after all, I work for them, and we asked them to take a position, and we were aiming toward a position at the end of the season, I don't think it's irresponsible. It's an important time to talk to the players while they're together and get their point of view. I think it's more irresponsible, really, to worry about personalities and who said what to whom. I think the most important thing is to face the fact that blacks do not have very many important positions in the NFL, and let's deal with it. Whether it's me or whether it's Lenny Haas, the president of the union, sitting down with the commissioner and the owners, we think that's the way to tackle the problem, worrying about who said what to whom.
And let me address this to the commissioner. Irv, Pete, what you're saying is that the owners are addressing that question? They are trying to make progress in the racial area?
Oh, they have been for a number of years, and I think we have made progress. Hopefully we'll have more. I think one of the problems is that you're in competition today. You're in competition with all business. I know as a fact, and I think he will acknowledge it, that Irv Cross was offered the business manager's job of the Dallas Cowboys some years ago. But Irv was in a situation then with his outside business interests where he couldn't afford to come in at that level with the football team and give up the income he was earning, I believe, at that time with the brokerage. So I think that one of the problems is that the qualified people, black and white, frequently have better opportunities outside of football, but hopefully we can develop and also recruit more top ones.
Just think of the Super Bowls you passed up, Irv.
At least 3, right?
You could have gotten tickets for all my friends, right?
Well, sure. You were the first one to get one, believe me.
All right. The NFL Today will continue on CBS with a lot of highlights after these messages from your local stations.
Guess who's coming to dinner tonight? The whole family's back for Thanksgiving, and have they got news?
I was fired, Arch.
A special one-hour Archie Bunker's Place tonight.
This is CBS.
What's happened to the Dallas Cowboys? Take a look at the standings. NFC East, a three-way tie, Dallas, Philadelphia, and Washington. Well, Irv, here's what happened to the Cowboys today. They were mobbed by the Redskins. On this first sequence, you'll see a fumble by Laidlaw, recovered by Washington.
The Redskin defense today was tenacious, Brent. Of course, Corey Bacon recovered that fumble.
Theismann Irv then went to John McDaniel. Touchdown, Washington.
Big day for Joe. Hit 15 out of 24 for 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, but no interceptions. Here's a long pass to Danny Buggs, who collected 111 yards today receiving.
And John Riggins, Irv, powered across from there for Washington. Now here's the big play. Dallas was threatening late in the second period. Kenny Houston on the safety blitz, and Roger fumbled.
Corey Bacon again, number 79. What a big day he had. He was formerly drafted by the Dallas Cowboys.
Theismann going to Clarence Harmon. And the route is complete. 34-20. Washington wins it easily. Now, speaking of big days, watch O.J. Anderson, 32, keep it on the fake end around.
You want to pick a Rookie of the Year? There he is right there, number 32. Gained 110 yards rushing today. Now leads the National Football Conference in rushing with 1,215 yards. Number 32 is finally dragged down at the 1.
Morris scoring for St. Louis, and then it was Jim Hart to Mel Gray.
You may not believe this, Brent, but I played against Mel Gray. Number 85 was always tough to cover, and what a quick receiver.
Hard here, and Morris hooking up again, up over the top of the... Here's the key play. Watch Krepfle. What a great catch by the Philadelphia tight end from Jaworski. Now, Jane, what about the games remaining?
Well, the schedule stands, and I think Dallas has the roughest of the three in the lead. They play Houston, and then followed by the Giants. They go to Philadelphia, and that last game on December 16th with Washington. Washington's schedule is as follows: the Giants, Green Bay, Cincinnati, then they go to Dallas, and Philadelphia at Green Bay, followed by Detroit and Dallas, and then their final game with Houston.
I think you're right, but the way Dallas is playing, I'll tell you, any schedule is going to be tough right now. Now, the NFC Central, Tampa Bay, if they beat the Giants today and they're ahead by 2 touchdowns, they could have the best record in the NFC. You heard it here first. Tampa Bay could go to the Super Bowl this year, but don't repeat it too loudly. They'll think you're as crazy as I am. Todd to Barkham in Chicago, and the Jets blow another extra point. And then, Irv, back they came with Mike Phipps. Are they a different team with him?
You know, he's kind of a guy I would describe as a late developer. He's always had great physical skills. Now he's putting them to work.
That was Williams up over the top. Great fake by Phipps right here, Irv, to Peyton. Then he throws to Williams for the touchdown, and Chicago beats the Jets. Here's Terry Miller exploding against Green Bay.
The Oklahoma State running back was second in the Heisman Trophy voting his senior year. He's finally starting to show some of that flash he showed last year. Pretty good run.
And watch this catch by Lofton over the middle for the Packers. They lost this game to Buffalo 19-12, but they led on that reception until Collier came back for the score. Now watch Collier. He's all alone, but he says, I got to spike it. And he gets it done. Now it's Minnesota and Detroit. You'll see Detroit Thanksgiving Day against Chicago and Walter Payton. They forced Chuck Foreman to turn it over. Comlow on the keeper. How'd McNeil miss that tackle?
He's a good open field tackler. I'm surprised he did miss it, but of course the Lions take advantage of it with a score.
Kramer then coming back, and it is Ricky Young. Irv, you told me that Ricky played college football with Walter?
His freshman year at Jackson State, they had in their backfield Ricky Young, Walter Payton, and Wilbert Montgomery from the Philadelphia Eagles, all 1,000-yard rushers in the National Football League.
Giants settle for a field goal. They're coming back. Tampa Bay 14, the Giants 3. Let's send you back now to Vin Scully and George Allen.
Both teams coming back on the field, as you can see, so we're just moments away from the kickoff to start the second half. It was a wild first half. Saw the Saints score first, but Seattle dominate and get their share of the break. So at halftime, Seattle 24, New Orleans 14.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealers, who bring you the better idea cars and trucks for the 80s. The Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by STP. STP, gas treatment and oil treatment.